our tea with the team is going to get started here. We've got a couple of announcements, but Marcus and I were talking pre-starting, and apparently we've got some pretty cute mugs. Mine's a lefty. Says, I wish I could text my dog. Marcus, however, has an interesting one. Who else has a teacup that they want to share? Show us yours, Marcus.
You can't read it. It says, put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers. If you don't know the movie, you don't get it. It's old Alec Baldwin. It's a classic sales movie.
So if your coffee mug is this way, then that means you're a lefty, or it just means that my dog's trying to remind me that I need to text him, right?
And then,
but it has a bone in the middle of it.
Nate knows this one. Nate knows this one.
You're double fisting it.
That one's water. Yeah.
All right, welcome to Tea with the Team. We should have Sean joining us here in just a minute. We've got a few things to discuss before we start getting questions answered. This is our last Tea with the Team on Marketplace Sellers before it moves over to the Online Sellers Network. Some of you guys are coming over and joining us. It's brand new. We're super excited about it. The Tea with the Team is going to move over into this in the last 3 weeks of January, which is next week, the week after, and then just after that we're going to do the Tea with the Team. I want to talk on those, and I will explain exactly what it is that we're going to be doing in those subjects here in just a minute. But I wanted to address a couple of things that we've been noticing on the group. The group is growing. It's awesome. I love that there's so many people that want to help and support each other. But there's some things that we can't really answer. Number one, we're not accountants. So we can't answer accounting questions. There's a few of you that are accountants that you can answer questions, but I'm just need to say right now, we're not accountants. We cannot give you accounting advice. So as far as the 1099s that may be coming from Facebook, we don't know how they're coming. We don't know if they're sending them by email, if it's going to be on the platform, if you're going to get them in the mail. You'll get them some way, but as soon as we start finding out, we will let you know. But just so you know, the T on the 1099s is that we don't know yet, and they're not due until January 30th anyway. So we just have to be patient. Tish?
Oh, no, she took her hand down.
Oh, so. There we go. Actually, I can speak for past PayPal 1099s. I cannot speak for this year's Facebook 1099s. My PayPal 1099 has come hard copy mail. Facebook, I know people were asking how their Facebook payments were going to come or were they going to show, and I'm like, I know nothing about that.
Got it.
Right. Well, that's good to know. The new paid group and some of the things that we have on it, it's going to include our weekly webinars with the Tea with the Team. If you come over to our website, which is marketplace-sellers.com/login, and I apologize when I posted the link the other day on the group, it was not working. And I had several people that actually requested to join, but didn't realize that it was a paid group, probably because the link wasn't working. I had to take that down, re-put it back up. Again, I apologize for that, but it's going to give you access to the Online Sellers Network group, which is obviously the people. It's going to be an advanced selling network. It's going to include more than just Facebook. So it's going to mainly be talking about Facebook, but we're going to expand outside of that. Access to all the webinars, like we said, monthly work calendars that was just put up yesterday. It has minimal information on it right now. I'm adding more to it, but basically the work calendars tells you specifically what to do, when to do it, how to do it, like when to go and file taxes, call your tax accountant, just basically everything that you need to know to be able to run your business. And to me, that's, it's a lot of value, because sometimes people don't know, what do I do next? Links to be able to go and take care of things, like when to remember put stuff on your spreadsheets. And I mean, all of that stuff is going to be on there. And we're just uploading all of that right now as it just got put on there, and we're continuing to add to that. We're doing monthly challenges. This month we're doing a content challenge. And so, you know, every day is going to be a new challenge. And then just basically top-notch information, exclusive just to this group. So for those of you who want to come and join us, who want to be part of the Tea with the Team, we want you to come and be part of it. It's only $10 a month. It's as Sean put it, less than a cup of coffee.
He said something else.
From 1980. And he says something else also. He comes up with all the funny puns. You know, he's the most sarcastic person I know at the moment. But anyway, on the seminars for the next couple of weeks. Next week, I'm first. So you get me. We're going to be talking about marketing yourself on Facebook Marketplace, not shops, Facebook Marketplace, how to get more business onto just your marketplace, and how that's going to work. So that's going to be my tea. It's going to be a high-level, intense workshop. So it's not going to be a workshop that you don't want to bring your paper and pen. Those of you who are part of the Online Sellers Network, you will have replays with us whenever you want. If you want to purchase the webinars singularly, you can. It's on the website. They're $5 a webinar. Otherwise, you can just join the Online Sellers Network, and we can do it that way. Marcus, do you want to talk to us a little bit about yours the week after that?
Sure. So I am going to cover transitioning from just selling on Facebook Marketplace on your personal profile over to using a business profile and selling on shops, and kind of using both at the same time to help get momentum going on your shop. Part of the success that folks see, the really successful folks on their Facebook shop, is when they have an accompanying page that has followers and, you know, content and stuff like that. So just really some tips, tricks, and I like to get into the weeds and some techniques for using that time that if you know you want to migrate to a more business platform, which is what Shops is. It's more designed for someone that's operating as a business. Doing some overlap time so that you can, you know, you're still got revenue coming in, you still have, you know, you're still getting money coming in, but you're also at the same time building that following and that shop. So that's what I'll be going over. Lisa, you could probably cover what Sean's going to go over, since he's not, I don't think he's in yet. So.
Yeah, he just texted me, and he's actually in a store, you know, working and in a store right now. I don't know any other way to explain it. He's working.
He's that store online, isn't he?
He's selling this. He's selling his stuff. So he's on his way in just a second. But Sean's all about the shops. You know, how do shops work? How to make them flow. For those of you that don't know, he's at like on the back end of 20,000 followers just on one shop. He's got like 5 or 6 shops, and on one shop he's been working on from the beginning. That shop already has almost 20,000 followers, which is phenomenal. And every day we find out new things on how to implement and make shops work even better. And he's got some really cool tricks up his sleeve. He thinks it's simple. I don't, but that's just me. But the way he explains it and the way that he's able to put it out there is phenomenal to me. Ads, how the ads work, how to target down to the exact person that you need, so that you can boost. I mean, some of this stuff it's mind blowing. So we're super excited about all of that. And
here it is.
Okay, we can get another lowdown from him. Hello, Arkansas Online Flea Market.
Well, hello, hello, hello.
We were just talking about you. Everybody say yes, we were right.
My ears were burning.
I know. We were telling them that you were working on stuff in the store. So,
Oh, yeah.
okay. So you want to give us a lowdown on what your webinar is about? I just kind of gave them a quick see.
Well, first off, there's a much faster way of setting up a shop than what Facebook has you do. Hold on a second. I'm going to step outside where it's a little quieter. I came up here to get some Greek heroes for lunch.
Oh,
Okay.
he's
Uh,
not selling it.
there's a faster way of setting up a shop, as I had Marcus follow the path that I'm using now, and I think he got very good results from that.
Hmm.
Um, so there's that. Um, the actual, what the easiest way to set up a feed from Shopify into a shop without even linking your Shopify to your shop. There's a way of doing this. So Shopify can feed multiple shops from one domain. Um, Also, a little bit about once you get a shop, what now? I mean, that's great. You have one, but now you got to get people to like it. You got to start creating content. And creating content is twofold. One, you got to have interesting content. The second part is you have to target who you're going to send it to. So, just basically a crash course in the run through of getting your shop published, getting it online, and then where you start from there in actual building a business. Because unfortunately, a shop on Facebook is going to the next level. It's not listing things and just letting them sit. A shop is your bridge from to hit the Facebook news feed is what it's for. It's not supposed to rely just on Marketplace. It's to let you out of the confines of Marketplace into the Facebook news feed. So that's it in a nutshell.
Perfect. I think all of this is so exciting. And just like, he's uh, leveling up with the shops, we were leveling up with our groups, adding the Online Sellers Network. You can go to the website. It's brand new, marketplace-sellers.com. We also have a place if you need consulting where, you can pick, like Marcus does drop shipping, Nate does crafting, Sean does obviously shops. So as we have some of our experts that come on and the platform and continue to give me their information, we will make them available for you so that if you do want to hire a mentor, that you can go on there and do that and work with them. Now, I'm going to do this. I don't generally do this, but I am going to do a little shameless plug. My daughter said I should do it, and Marcus asked the group experts to go on. If you guys could like and share the YouTube channel, I have a goal to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of February, and I think that we can collectively do this together. We have over 10,000 people in the group, and we have just keep adding good, amazing content from all of you guys, and I would love to be able to make this goal. So if you guys could help me out to do that, I would absolutely love it. Thank you so much for that.
I've got a few. They're sexy but still tasteful videos that I'll be posting on there for you, Lisa. That should give you the boost that you need.
No, I'm scared. Oh, we love, you know what? Marcus did a Super Seller Sunday. We do have a Super Seller Sunday this week. It's going to be with Tish. She's actually on the call right now. I'm so excited to get to interview her. It's going to be more in a podcast style format, but it will be on YouTube. So I'm excited about that. Tish has been around the business for many, many years. And so we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up with you guys. Did I miss anything, gentlemen?
You're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's open this baby up for some questions. What do you guys got going on? What are you thinking?
So I will, I know there's a couple of folks that are on the phone. I know you can't do the hand raise thing, so feel free to just speak up and we'll work through it. If you're on the phone or the thing, you can do the hand raise thing. If not, wave your arms, do whatever. We'll figure it out. We're not such a big group. We can't figure it out. So what do you got?
Perfect.
How
While we're
about
waiting for I want to say, Natasha, you're not in your car today.
Yeah.
She said right and gave me the thumbs up.
Exactly.
But
But I will be in about the next 20 minutes. But hey, who knows? Who cares?
We'll be back in the car with.
This is the one day that I don't have to. So
kids aren't back in school yet, huh?
Yeah, they are. That's why I'm about to be going picking up people in a second.
Oh, okay.
That's why we didn't recognize you.
No steering wheel.
No steering wheel. Oh man, we have such an amazing group of people here, and there's so much. And even when we see a little bit of tension here and there, you guys always seem to come together as a group, and I absolutely love what's been created here. And I just want to say thank you for all of that. I know I maybe say that too much, but I really love our group. So.
Hey, Nate, on a side note, if you would, if you get a chance, hit me up on Messenger. I've got a page that I'm starting that I was speaking a little bit with Lisa and Marcus, and I think some of your items may be a good fit for it. It's called It's called Quit Your Bitching, so I think you'll like it.
I was Nate and I were talking the other day, and we all we all have our opinions on Facebook jail and what can get you there and all that kind of stuff. We all have our non-business personas, and I'm going to probably start doing some more craft work and decals and stuff on and use Twitter. I've never really used Twitter. I don't know. I'm going to fart around with it and see if I can drive a little traffic on Twitter. It seems to be a little bit more lenient on what you post if it's a little edgy. And well, I know it is because there's straight up adult stuff on there. Not that I look at it, but anyway.
That's okay.
You run across some things sometimes. And, but those of us that make some stuff or buy stuff or sell stuff that might violate Facebook guidelines, figure out another way to do it. So I'm going to go to Twitter and see if I can't sling some decals on Twitter, and it still can have it go to my shop. I might just not have the image of it on my shop. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then that's a lot of what the Online Sellers Network is about. It's about showing you guys how to expand outside of the Facebook marketplace and doing more than just Facebook, so that you can leverage yourself, because that's what we all need to do. We need to leverage ourselves. And a lot of times when one platform isn't doing great, another one is. And when you have expanded out on more than one place, it just keeps you coming, keeps you flowing in business. So
it allows you to build a brand. If people
Thank
keep
you.
seeing your name, you become a brand, and because of they're familiar. They don't know where they saw your name at, but they just know they saw it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we have a little bit of a new lineup this week, starting this year. And Thursdays, Sean is going to be taking over. What was it called again? Hashtag. What is it again, Sean?
Oh, I was kidding the other day and said I was going to start a segment called Sean Thinks Out Loud.
Yeah, I thought that was real.
Yeah, we pinned it. You got it on Thursday.
Put it on.
Then I guess the thought became a reality. Then, no, what I wanted to do was, like, on Thursday mornings from maybe 6:30 to 8:30 or something, I would be live on the group. And if you had a quick question that you thought I might be able to answer, I'll be there with answering questions, goofy memes, silly videos, and maybe a little sarcasm mixed in.
Or a lot of bit of sarcasm, which is what you're known for.
I love that idea.
Oh, see, there you go. You already have a follower.
All
I was
right,
thinking I might
starts
try
with
to start
one.
that too. I sit at my desk, and there's nothing to say. I can't just turn the camera on and sit here and keep doing my day job and be available from time to time.
To help.
I don't know if I'm as witty as Sean is, but at least something. So,
Alex, you're being so quiet today. What's going on with you?
Doing good. Just finding my place where to fit in here.
It's
Speaking
now.
of, speaking of days, I'll be doing a marketing minute on
yes.
Saturdays. So for those of you who want to wake up a little late in the day and sort of check online to see what's the latest and greatest, I have some uplifting and educational content I'm going to be posting for those who are more of on the beginner side who want to wrap their mind around marketing. But in a nutshell, marketing is really about relationships. And a lot of what I do online and offline is about relationship building. And it's not just what people say, it's what people don't say. And one thing I'm going to be sharing that I'd like to drop for the people is you don't ever need to worry about what people think about you if you don't have a real connection with them. Because oftentimes when you're selling a marketplace, you're opening up yourself to public criticism. And it could feel really bad. And I know for me, I'm a sensitive and emotional person. I have emotion. And so I want people to like my products. Can anybody agree with that? You don't want to put all of your time into your work to sell and people not buy it. And so what I've learned over the years is not to take people's criticisms too seriously because they don't have a personal connection with me. If they did, they'd be the kind of person I could sit down and grab a cup of coffee or something and have a real conversation with. So if you're out there and you get a lot of haterade, and a lot of us do, no need to take it personal because you can think, oh, that's probably not the person that I would have a cup of coffee with. Because if it was, they wouldn't talk to me that way. And therefore you can disassociate emotionally from letting that affect your mental and emotional state while you're selling online.
Do you
Cool.
get a lot of haterade? I like that. It's like Gatorade with the hate, huh?
Big time. And, obviously, many people know me for selling the premium Dorito in the jar. And anytime you sell a product like that or anything that you like or feel attached to that is controversial, whether it's new technology or whether it's a spin on something that's been around for a long time, you're going to open yourself up to that. So what I do in my case, because I've got millions of views and a lot of people said very nasty things to me, and maybe this is partially me, everybody, but I absorbed the learning opportunity out of that toxic experience. So I like to dissect things and I jump into it and I learn from it so that I can understand people. Why? Because the more that I understand people, the more I can relate to them. And I come predisposed knowing that I'm going to give grace and mercy to people because I know when I open myself up to the public, how people act online when they try to bully me is not how they're going to act in real life. So you could be the biggest gangster type person, the biggest boo, the biggest gotcha, the biggest I'm going to get you attitude online. But in real life, people are not quite like that. And when I differentiated that, I didn't take it personally. I was like, let me learn from this. And in my situation, just keeping it 100, there's people that were drunk that seen my product and they were like, they want to pick on me. They want to have fun at my expense. And you know what? For that particular product, that Dorito in the jar, it's about laughing and smiling easier. So if they come in drunk or high or want to pick on me or want to use and abuse me, and if they have a good time, well, the point of my product is for them to have a good time. How they go about it is their business. My business is to be a responsible business person and to expose my brand, what I stand for, my selling proposition that causes my product to stand out over yours. And from a technical perspective, I want to drive up the positive results from the Facebook algorithm and get people talking. And then from there, I can love on them, I can block them, I can relate to them, I can do any number of things. And so all that to wrap up to say that the Marketing Minute is going to have that kind of energy and DNA in it. So if you're interested in learning how to not take things personal, how to expose yourself and your brand or your products or your image, how to keep a good head on your shoulders while you're trying to convince people to give you your money for products and services, then check me out on Marketing Minute on Saturdays. Boom, boom.
Cool.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
And
I was
if
gonna-
anybody needs somebody to a different profile to set somebody straight after some comments like what Alex was talking about, I'm available for that. I can make them question a lot of things and call their mom at 2:30 in the morning crying. So just hit me up if my services are needed.
Thanks, Sean.
For a reasonable fee.
For a reasonable fee.
Those are free of charge.
So when we were teasing Sean earlier, his thing that he's doing, that he's talking about, isn't really what, I mean, that was like the hashtag that we came up with. We have a lot of fun with our meetings, but it's actually dumb answers to great questions. So that's going to be his time that he does. And I'm going to come back to you, Alex, and say I am excited about your Marketing Minute that you're going to be doing on Saturdays. The one thing that I took away from you last week in our tea with the team was when you said, think twice, speak once. To me, that was like really a great statement.
Yeah.
Do
I
we
mean,
have
let me add to that. This is real talk. Being an emotional person doesn't mean that you're emotionally out of order. It just means that you're acknowledging that you have emotion. You cannot separate 100% your emotion from you doing business in this context that we're in on, selling products and services on marketplace. So the think twice, speak once is really great for me because it allows me to try to show empathy. What is empathy? Trying to understand as much as I can what my prospect or customer is going through so that I can meet their need. If I'm meeting someone's need, I'm not thinking so much about myself initially. That comes secondarily or even tertiary, right? When you meet someone's need, not just the solution, but how it benefits them, the money will come in. It follows that as a natural progression of life. That's just how the universe works. So if we're talking about sales, my approach to marketing comes from that place because there is a process and a due process. Things have to be put in order enough times and consistently. Sean mentioned branding earlier. You mentioned think twice, speak once. These are all pieces that if we're going to be part-timers or full-timers, we got to begin in 2022 to take it maybe a baby step to the next level and consider how we approach mentally selling our products and services online, because there's so much value in what Sean is offering. However, there's also another leg to the table in your mental and emotional state. And that's some of the expertise that I come from when you look at marketing. So you don't got to be a super duper marketer, classically trained like I have been, combined 20 years, graphics, design, media, and stuff like marketing and stuff like that. It's just having a basic level understanding about what are you doing that's going to be different from somebody else. And maybe it's not cussing somebody out. Maybe that type of energy is going to go through your profile, the colors you use, the smile you have, the general energy that sort of auras out on your profile page, because some people you can't even see their face. You're not able to understand what they're about in a few seconds. And so thinking twice and speaking once is not just about and how I'm sharing it, not saying something toxic. It's really understanding who you are dealing with. And you don't need to go to school for that. That's just relationship building. And that, my friends, is really what marketing is all about. So yeah, I spent 20 years to figure that out, right? It is what it is.
That's great. What were you going to say, Marcus?
Nothing. No. Good.
Okay, I've got to tell you guys something, because what Alex was saying actually reminded me. I sold real estate for 20 years. And I'm excited to do this full time online. I'm calling it my 2.0 life because I'm taking on a different career that I've always wanted to do in addition to real estate. I will always love and be part of real estate. But one year when the market was really starting to tank and there was a lot of negativity going on, everything's dull, everything's dreary. And one of my friends from the office that I worked in, she said, I've got this book for you, and it's really great. And she is always reading books. And I was like, sure, I'll take it. And I really felt the downward spiral starting to affect.
Oh, did we lose her? The
I lost her.
downward.
Yeah, I lost her at downward spiral.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
downward spiral took her.
She went down the downward spiral. We have a couple of folks that have joined.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. Are you back?
Back.
Not quite. We have a couple of folks that have joined since we started. So this is the open Q&A. I mean, it's just us kind of chatting right now. But if you have something specific or even not specific, a question or comment, either speak up or raise your hand in the chat feature. And we change topics a little bit. And Natasha's in her car. And yeah, we'd be more than happy to spin on it for a while.
In the meantime, Lisa, you were finishing up on downward spiral.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if anybody has a question or anything, just raise your hand and interrupt me while I'm telling you. But basically, I read this book and I devoured it, and it was so good. It's called The Magic Bus, and I've just bought it off of Amazon. It was super easy read, but it was about a gentleman who just kept becoming down on his luck, and he gets on this bus, and the bus driver is like super happy, super like, hey, good, but she has this set of rules that create an environment that's positive. And basically, the premise of the book is you have more room for people on your bus that are positive than negative, because negative energy takes more than positive energy does. Positive energy feeds you. And so like what Alex was saying, when we feed the negative energy, it's draining. It will pull us down. It will bring us down into the gutter and make us feel terrible. It affects our business. It affects our family. It affects everything around us. And I'm going to tell you, that was one of the best years that I had. And I attribute that to that book because it was so motivating to me that every time I heard someone was like, oh, the market is horrible, this is what's happening, all the foreclosures, blah, 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 I was like, let's take it. That's fine. You walk away, I'm going to take the business, and I'm going to sell the houses instead. And that's exactly what I did. So, we've got to find ways to find and seek out the positive in everything that we do, even the conversations that come to us.
And that's to bring it back to our group a little bit. If you've noticed, we've turned on post approval, right? It took us a long time to decide, and there was some not conflict, but discussion among Sean and Lisa and I. Do we want to do this? Do we not want to do it? And we tested it over Christmas. And we're really trying now to make both groups really, really not always positive and happy, fluffy, because that's not always the case, but solution focused. And that we're seeing as admins and moderators, we're seeing the results of that. And it's been really good. Everything seems to be positive, much more positive and better quality engagement and conversations and stuff. So if you've seen, that's the reason why we did that. So for those of you on the call, that's the driving behind that. Alex, did you have you got your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to drop something that happened to me when I was getting ramped up into the marketplace sellers mindset. When I allowed a negative comment, and let me give a new definition for the group to ponder. Even negative comments, quote unquote negative, can be productive. So if we're not allowing ourselves I'll use myself. When I allow myself to allow for productive conversations, even if it's a critique that may not be well worded, I can discern that and tell from a prospect who's just not sure why am I selling what I'm selling. It allows me to push past what looks like on the surface as something toxic and shut them down, and to dive deep into that enough so that I can get shared understanding. As folks that are selling online, you're opening yourself up to the etiquette and the standards of business, best business practices. This is part of the journey, especially if you want to make several $100s profit, thousands of dollars profit on marketplace. One of the things that happened to me, I allowed a statement to discourage me. I went from doing 5 postings from Monday to Friday to about 3 because of one statement that I allowed to get under my skin. So 5 postings in a week, that's 40% less that I was posting because I allowed a what I perceived at the time was a toxic statement to get under my skin. I overcame that and I went back to posting 5 times a week. So it goes to show that, at least in my one use case, one toxic word that you allow to get under your skin in a way that you can't make good use of it can cause you to decrease your productivity by at least 20 to 40% if you're posting once a day, 5 days a week. So
Perfect.
Anybody else got anything?
Perfect.
We changed topics. We're kind of high level mindset stuff today.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I think you guys have convinced me to join the Sellers Network. Mainly, I was hesitant because I'm not full time. I do not have a shop and don't necessarily want a shop. I've been blessed enough to be able to retire before I'm 50, and work from home part time just so I have play money and support my auction habit. But I love the fact that when I joined, that I know somebody would, if I want to look into drop shipping, I know I can go to Marcus. If I want to go into market, other things, I can go to Alex on, how do I market this? I love having a person to at least go, hey, can I pick your brain for 2 seconds in Messenger? I love that. And I think, and it wasn't even about the $10. It was about me realistically spending money on things that I didn't want to go into the group knowing that I wasn't going to put in as much as I was going to take out. Does that kind of make sense?
It does. It does. And one of the benefits, I'm in a couple of paid groups. They tend to call themselves mastermind groups. We chose not to use that word, but it's essentially the same kind of, man, I get so much out. Some of them are big, some of them are little. And it's just really neat being able to be close to folks. You got everybody from, 6-figure, 7-figure sellers down to, people just starting. And it's neat to have that access where everybody's focused on basically one thing, whatever that thing is of theirs. And, we're blessed to have you here, Tish, and we appreciate the support. And those that aren't going to join or that don't want to, that's perfectly fine. Our content and stuff on the main group is not going to change. It'll probably get better over time, but it's just that content is different than the focused content that we're going to have in the online network group. So again, Tish, thanks, we appreciate it.
Hey, let me add this right quick. In the new group that's there, you got to have a tougher skin because there's advanced concepts and application. And so if you're open to that, I'm going to use myself. I'm not representing the admins, but for myself, my conscious effort to add to that group is going to be more high level. It's going to tap deeper into some of the tactical stuff, not just high level strategy. You need both. And that's a place where I can express some of the things that I've learned from getting my butt kicked, working in the agency world, working for myself, working on teams, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want some of that and you're willing to hang and absorb it, great. Because you know what? How many times can you get a collective group that is willing to share? You know how expensive this stuff is? I've spent tens of thousands of dollars over the years getting advice and guidance and direction, and not all of it was great, but you try different things because that's part of the learning experience. So if you want some of that, at least I'll say for myself, that's some of the energy that I'm going to be adding into that group. In the main group, it's just for me, it's just loving on people, understanding people, sharing, because sharing is caring. I believe in that. And I don't want to get too cynical or too jaded from life's trauma that I can't chip in and give. It makes me feel good to give. And I chose to give in that particular platform, Facebook marketplace sellers. It just feels really good. That's my perspective. Some of you may or may not share that, but that's how I'm going to approach it as a moderator, with this group, on both groups.
Thank you, everybody. That's so awesome. I want to also move on after Sean says something, and then we're going to go on with some questions from the Tea with the Team post that we had, so like 3 or 4 questions there. But go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say that Lisa got on to me because some of my answers are a little short with people in the group, so she's made me promise that I have to put a smiley face emoji after everything. So if I fail to do that, y'all let me know. I want to be held accountable.
Just in your brain, everybody, put a smiley face at the end of Sean's post. So.
At least one smiley.
But you want lots?
And that's why we do these videos too. The first video that we had, the first Tea with the Team that we had was somebody said, I don't remember who it was. Oh, it was great to see everybody's face. And we're going to do these whether it's just a general Q&A or whether it's a focused webinar. It's really cool to get to learn people's tone of voice, what they say, it's real versus reading it on a screen. And so it's gonna, both groups, whether paid or not, I know for this year, a lot more video content, personal content, where you get to see our voices, hear what we have to say, which will hopefully then spark members to do the same, kind of create that. So we all, because having somebody give you a critique on your post verbally versus written, God, it's 2 totally different things. And so, yeah, we're going to see a lot of video. And as you all can hear, Sean is very soft. You can always tell when he's speaking. It's comes with sincerity, not so much when written sometimes. So.
Almost like a father, almost like a father figure, like go clean your room. Go ahead, Tish.
I have to admit, Sean, I am one of the ones who felt that you were a little harsh, not realizing it was you and that you were joking. But I am also the person who likes to put fluff and feathers on everything. And I write things over and over again. I write it and go, oh, not pretty enough. And I'll back it up and rewrite it and back it up and rewrite it.
Well,
probably because I'm as sensitive as Alex.
And what happens a lot, and I apologize, is I've got 12 pages in 8 shops, and I'm on about 9 other platforms, as well as I do my consulting and everything. So a lot of times I'm just jumping in, I see something, and I just whip out an answer, hit the send, and just move on. I'm not even really giving it a whole lot of thought. So if you ever think that I'm being crass or anything, just look for the smiley face, and that'll let you know.
Yeah.
It does solve everything.
Smiling always solves everything. We love you, Sean. We think the world of you, and all of us are so busy. And I found myself doing that on occasion. I to the guys, I call them the guys, that I felt like I was being a little bit harsh, and well, I need to like go outside or something and get a new perspective here, because I need or slow down. But when we just go, sometimes it can feel that way. One thing I did want to say, one of the questions that people posted on the Tea with the Team announcement was, do you folks work for Facebook? And that was actually a pretty interesting question, because we don't actually are not even affiliated with Facebook at all. We're just a sellers group that got together to help each other out. And with all of the knowledge and everything that we've researched and we've been implementing, we're trying to put information out there for you guys at a more advanced level so that you can know what to do to help yourself. I knew about a year ago that this was going to be a huge, huge platform to sell on. And I also knew that it was going to become overrun with sellers. And that's exactly what's been happening. So, you know, we're not Marketplace, we're not Facebook. There is an official group. It's pretty interesting. If you are part of that group, you know what I'm talking about. It's extremely crazy. People post something and then there's 50 other comments that don't have anything to do with that post. And so sometimes I wonder if people think that because we have to take comments out of posts that don't belong to that post and remind people we're not Facebook. So that was a good question, but that's who we are. We are not Facebook.
I one time went through probably an hour of chatting with somebody. We were going back and forth, not real frequency. You know, I would chat for a minute and then I'd answer a question and go back and forth. And then we came to the end and he said, thank you. You know, it wasn't anything too much. And he asked, I didn't even think to tell him, but he asked, he said, so what department do you work in? Like standing in my kitchen. I'm like, I don't work in any department. I just, he's like, oh, I thought you worked for Facebook.
Crazy.
I'm like, no, I don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we should make you official, Marcus.
No, I'm good.
We can get you a hat.
Yeah. No.
Nancy, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to say there's that other group called Marketplace Bugs that I think Rubio runs. And
Yes,
I think it was this morning, I actually saw a couple people indicating they were actually getting calls from Facebook support that they are trying to work on individual issues, big issues. One gal said the guys sound completely sincere. Another gal said she was allowed to ask some questions as well as trying to give them more information, you know, because they were looking for information about what was going on just before it happened, things like that. So I guess I'm just saying, you know, they're probably understaffed because all support departments are always understaffed, having worked in that for years. I mean, you know, I come from software development. I was not in support, but they're always understaffed because there's always more demand, more calls. Is, you know, there's problem calls, there's hand-holding calls, or just simple questions that could be answered on the, you know, and type of thing calls. And when I'm saying calls, this is back in the old days when you actually could call in, but, you know, I'm just saying they are working on it, but, you know, and some of these problems are probably really complex. Because I would guess that the marketplace algorithm and all is buried inside the overall marketplace, or not marketplace, Facebook software. It's huge and it's going to be really complex. And it's in software development, it's not done as waterfall anymore. It's done as agile. So they put out little pieces. It's not like they do the whole thing and then let it rip and let it go. So, and then even just people were saying, why don't I have this? Well, let's see. There's probably, I don't know how many copies of Facebook have been downloaded. That takes a while to roll it out to all those instances of that app, whether they use Marketplace or not. You know, it just takes time to get it out. And so, yeah, there's all sorts of different levels of that software out there. So anyhow, just from professional experience and all, but I just wanted to say some people are actually saying they're getting, you know, they are getting some support help. We'll just have to wait and see.
That's great. And Sean had a comment about that, and I'm pretty sure I know what he's going to say. So go ahead, Sean. And then after that, Marcus has something.
I'm sorry, it cut out there for a second. What was the question again?
That's not acceptable.
Neither am I, but whatever.
You were gonna comment on Nancy on how many employees they have and how many sellers there are.
On the customer service side?
Yes.
Now this article came out in it was either late October or early November, and I think you read it also, Lisa. That was Facebook had done something to where, like, the first level that you get on customer support, it has 400 employees that process 600 requests each per shift. So on a 10-hour shift, they're doing one a minute. So the initial support that you reach out for, just remember that that's the first level that you reach. Through persistence, you can get to the next level. But that first one, that's why I'm sure everybody's noticed you can all of a sudden get answers to questions that you did not even ask. You get the please hold for 3 to 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, I'm going to get an answer. And then they answer something that's completely off topic. I mean, they're moving at such a pace, they even lose track. And like I said on a previous meeting, the prime zone, I'm in central time zone, and like between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning is my prime. I wait for any kind of support till that time frame, and I get a phone call a lot of the times. If I'm on support chat, I'll just type in, I want to call, and I get that call more times than I don't. But just remember, your first reach out to support, that's the one that wants to just send you a quick help topic and hope you go away. You have to be persistent to get through to the next level. You'll never make it to the developers, obviously, but you can climb the ladder just a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you. Marcus and then Tish.
So there was a gentleman on our call last week, and he was having trouble. I don't remember the specifics. And I reached out. This is just to confirm that what Nancy was saying. He reached out. I reached out to him and asked him, well, we gave you some info last week. What came of it? And he got a call. It was about a payout, actually, is what it was. He doesn't know the exact what's going to happen. They told him that he was going to get his payout this week, I think. But they had a specific date. I won't go into too much detail. It's his business. But they had a specific date, and it was via a phone call. So I don't know exactly how he got that phone call to happen, but it was based on what we talked about last week. So yes, it happens. You can get phone calls. I tend to get real people pretty quick through using the magic form. Others tend to get the bots for a while, but the horror stories are probably accurate as far as fact, right? It's hard to get a hold of support, probably not as much as embellishment. It can be tough, but they are working on it. And that's a good, and for a 5% fee, I mean, how much do you expect? So, yeah, cool. Tish?
I think it has a lot to do, first I want to say about how they're contacting. I know the support from direct Facebook, from your order screen and other places, if you don't have a shop, is a bot every time, and I've never been able to get any ladder anywhere. But our magic form, sometimes it's a bot at first, but quickly with a concise reply to the notes and screenshots, I typically get ladder eventually to somebody who says it's been escalated, we hope we'll get back to you, or here's your answer. But something I can constantly remind myself of, and this is so hard because it's so big and I'm making most of my money from Facebook now, is how new they are. I personally have been with eBay for 16 years, and I know the changes they've gone through since that. The only reason I know it's 16 years is because every time I get a hold of them, they go, thank you for being a customer for 16 years. And I giggle to myself that I've been selling that long. And I remember some of the changes they went through and how frustrated I was. But I'm like, Facebook is so new. I mean, and how do you roll out something to millions and probably billions, I'm sure, of people and not have issues, at first? I mean, most companies start small. You screw up. Oops, sorry, my 5 customers. Here's your stuff back for free. We'll fix it. So that is something that I struggle with personally, reminding myself they're a baby in the selling world.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good news for us.
It is. That's huge.
Great news.
Yeah.
That's like bottom floor,
Hopefully.
ahead of the trend. So we're early adopters, more or less. And when you look
Hopefully.
at the experts that talk about this, bro, come on.
Yeah.
They what, 1 billion users? It made 24 billion, 26 billion dollars in 2021. This is chump change, this part of their overall business. They'd be smart to keep it going. They're making tons of money off of the fees. So we're ahead of the curve. Yes, more people are seeing it. So what does that mean for all of us in the big scope of things? The smarter you play the game as an early adopter, as the trend goes up, you ride that trend, you're going to benefit more than you will not benefit. It just depends how much grit, what's your game plan, and that just really depends on your approach. So you got to work backwards from the end goal. So for me, it's the mind game is everything, the basics of first base, second base, third base. Before we get to advanced stuff, what is it did you want to do? Because when I got into this Facebook marketplace, I had to wrap my mind around the big picture. To Nancy's point, to Tish's point, to Sean, I had to put the pieces together and wrap my mind. And I'm telling you, I had this feeling in my heart like, oh my God, finally I got onto something that I'm early. Yes. And then the next thing I thought was, darn it, like when you bring a new baby home from the hospital, it's going to be a lot of nurture, a lot of sleepless nights. And trust me, I put in my raccoon dark eyes, hours and hours of study to understand this thing in the big context of my expertise, which was digital marketing. Like, how does it play in the bigger picture? And when I was like, man, this is like the Wild Wild West. Tons of money is going to be made off of this sucker. But am I willing to do what it takes to plot my land, be committed for a certain amount of time, and go through the normal paying your dues that we all go through? Right. That's life. And so when I was younger in my career, I was still understanding life in relation to as an adult professional. Mm-hmm. I keep coming back to these keywords because that's how you build a healthy culture of understanding. Okay, I'm not just selling some leftover stuff in my closet where I'm not putting in certain standards and mechanisms of process and method. I'm going to the next level where process, method, standards, everything has to come into place. So in 2022, how are we going to approach it? What methods are we using? What's your protocols? Exactly. What's your foundation? Because tactical stuff does not mean strategy. You got to have both. You got to have your playbook and then your plays. And I'm really grateful that this community has enough people in it where we can figure it all out together to a good degree. I really believe that. Thank you, Alex.
Tish, you're next. And then after that, Sean, will you wrap us up and close us out?
Actually, I forgot to take my hand down, so sorry.
Oh, all right,
okay. Sean, go ahead and close us out.
Well, I don't really know how to close something out, so I'll just say, if you hit a snag on a shop or something and you've got a quick question, feel free to shoot me a message. Most of the times I can answer it pretty quick. Other than that, get out there, work, make good content, make good listings, and happy selling.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.